Hello and welcome to At the Canal on Vanguard Life. My name is Precious Chukwudi and I have with me my co-host
Gift Mark.
Alright, today we're talking about a very dear subject to the hearts of many women and also men too, who are also with us in this same journey. And it's the fact that on November 25th it was the day for that's the end the elimination of gender-based violence against women and all that. And there's also an advocacy 16 days advocacy running since November 25th to December 10th. So it's a way of work against gender-based violence. And also I think the theme is orange to the world or
Yes,
something
orange
like
to the world.
And so what we're going to be talking about is the issue of rape. It's been a very big topic since this year. In fact, it started to become a very big topic during the period of the lockdown. We had so many cases of people who were raped, from children to women, men. It became a normal occurrence to an extent, and it was something that everybody started to talk about and say, this is not what we want. Every day when you come online, you take the papers, you see rape, fathers to daughters, pastors to
their
members, brothers and sisters, street urchins. All these things became a conversation at that period. And one of the reasons why we're talking about this is because of a story of a girl in Abakaliki who apparently was going home with her sister, and she was accosted by a man who is married, and he was trying to talk to them and they were trying to avoid him. Next thing, he snatched the girl's phone and ran off. And the girl ran with him
into a park.
Yes, into a park. He ran off into a park. The girl ran with him, trying to get her phone from him. And then he started to bite her at different places of her body, different parts of her body. And her sister was there trying to fight him off too. And before you know what happened, he attacked the girl. She fell unconscious and he raped her. Now the sister, I think he even used maybe a bottle to hit her on her head, but in that state of pain and everything, she ran out to go and get some help. And then that was when police came. So by the time the girl had opened her eyes, she realized that she was in a pool of blood. She had been bruised, battered, and also raped. And the man was arrested. Now this is something that we keep talking about it, and it's really hard for victims of rape. It's really hard for their families, because some of them, there's some traditions that they believe that once you are raped, there's a dent on you naturally. So how these people see themselves is one of the things that we want to talk about today. What do you think about our topic?
It's a very interesting topic, because imagine a married man that has a wife in the house. Yes, it's normal if some men just have there's this saying that says men are polygamous in nature, with due respect. And then if you see a girl, like the man seeing a girl probably that he likes, and then maybe he wants to have something with the girl, and then walk up to the girl and the guy said, oh, excuse me, I'm not interested. What stops you from just trying elsewhere? I keep saying try elsewhere. Raping a girl, come on, with you having a wife in the house. I don't know what his reasons are, but I feel
the thing with this whole rape thing is the fact that you don't give your consent. These people do not give their consent. They don't say, okay, I want you to do this to me, so that's what makes it rape. Now you have a wife at home. I mean, people do these things. They are side chicks outside. If you want some extra babe, because some men have this ideology of that, we know if they chop okra soup every time now, we go like ABC, we go like vegetable and those. I'm not advocating for cheating or against your marriage and all of that, but I'm saying that it's better for you to go out if you want to, than to actually catch people and then rape them. It's not even ideal, one, because you're destroying someone's life. You're destroying their person. You're destroying how they built themselves to really. Because if we speak about the victims of rape, it's huge on them. For example, let me give a story of a young child. this one happened around my community, and the girl, like, she was 8, and her aunt sells like gas cylinder, so she has to really go to work really early in the morning, and she won't come back till like in the evening. And then this young girl apparently would go to school, come back, and then be home. And then she had this neighbor who was a pastor. Yes, she had this neighbor who was a pastor. So when she would come back, she would just be home alone, and she'd be like, let me go and stay in pastor's house, because in that pastor's house other children would come over, and then they would just stay, and so she would go there. But she comes back quite earlier than other children, so she would come spend her time in the pastor's house. And then all of a sudden it became a frequent thing, like she would always go there. And then people would be like, why is this girl always in? Well, a lot of people didn't think about it, because he's a pastor now, he won't really consider that girl. And again, he has children, so who would think that? Until one particular day when the child couldn't walk, the girl couldn't walk well, she was leaning on the wall and was limping. And her aunt, because she's never always around, so she goes really early, comes back late, and by the time she's back, the girl is already asleep. You get the point? And so she never always, she has never noticed anything awkward about the girl up until that particular day when she was like home, and that was when the day the girl was really limping. And the girl started to talk about it and say that, oh, it's pastor, he put his thing in my thing, that kind of thing. And they were trying to find out more information. And then she now started to say, he will give me 200 naira. And for a child like that is going to 200 naira is such a huge money. I mean, I'm sure her aunt doesn't even give her that much money to school. And so he would tell me to keep quiet, I shouldn't say anything, and like that. So the woman was trying to find out how long has this been going on. It's been going on for a long time coming, and she's getting so much pain, and she can't even walk properly again. So you see, at that time it was very disheartening. It was a sad occurrence. But how did the story end? Really, we found out that the lady was actually struggling to even pay her house rent. So struggling to pay her house rent, instead of following up the matter to ensure that young girl gets like justice, she instead decided to form alliance with the man, and told him that if he pays her house rent, the case will be forgotten. And like when I heard that case, I was livid. I was like, how do you exchange a girl's life? Because whether you like it or not, this is a very big scar on her life for a long time coming. She might either hate men or hate being in places where she'll feel so insecure. She'll feel like everybody is out to get her. So how do you exchange the peace of mind of a child? How do you exchange that justice for a child with a house rent that already you should even have by yourself? And you should so it looks like everything was just working in within the same time bound for the lady, and then she took advantage of it.
You're talking about sex. To me, I feel sex should be enjoyed. If it's not something I enjoy, for instance, then I shouldn't even do it. Sex should not be something that you have to go through pains, go through that trauma. I don't know why. This sex thing, this people like, let me just relate to the story you just said about that girl. Let me assume that maybe the first day he gave her money, the next day money, maybe from that frequent money he gives to her, she enjoyed going to his house. Maybe he just touch her here or touch her there, and she's like, just to touch me and give me money. But then maybe he got to a point where he had to do the main thing, and then disfigured her or something. I'm talking about imagine that girl. Let's look at the issue of hypersexuality. If that girl is a virgin, as a virgin, you actually have sex. You understand, for the first time, and then for the first time, and it was a rape. They raped you the very first time you had sex. You understand? So they raped you the very first time you have sex. Sometimes just to make the girls to actually make those girls not attempt to actually start having sex anyhow. My first time of having sex, it was a rape. I was raped. That pains I felt. So right now I don't know what to do. Let me just be having sex up and down. So it leads to hypersexuality. Talk about, of course, injury. Of course, they have injuries in some of them do have injuries in their vagina. I read one story about children, that actually start having sex at a very young age. Those particular children that have sex at a very young age, sometimes they have some internal injuries in the vagina. They tend to start dripping water or other things. Talk about the issue of sexual transmitted diseases. Talking about rape, you want to rape somebody, of course the last thing in your mind is, let me go and grab a condom. Do you understand? That's the last thing in your mind, because sometimes it happens impromptu. You just dress, wear your shoes and your trousers, you're walking on the street, and whoa, you see one fine girl, and you be like, oh, this girl is fine, come on. That's the next thing you approach. Just like the case of this man, he approached the girl said no. Do you understand? Maybe he didn't even plan on meeting that girl that day, and then probably you just met the girl and then it happened. I'm not talking about issue. I'm talking about some problems that these people tend to actually face. Talk about, of course, you mentioned depression earlier. Depression of I'm a rape victim, I have been raped. Those are the things that happen to some of the things that happen to these victims, and then you keep wondering, these men, what are your problems? And then, sorry to say, I'm not advocating for people standing on the streets, but then you don't have to rape. You don't have. There are other ways. I keep saying this. There are other ways not to rape.
This, what you're saying now, it just reminds me of one of the stories that we saw, during the period of the lockdown, and that was when, a particular girl who is like a sales girl in one of all these shops where you make deliveries and all of that, and she was in her shop. Her madam asked one of the delivery guys to come pick up, an item from the shop. The madam was not even around. She's like a 20-year-old girl, but she's like pretty small, like body size, so she doesn't even look her age. And then this delivery guy came, picked up the parcel and saw that the girl was alone, raped her, threw 1,000 naira on her, and then left. Now the madam who came to the shop even asking, okay, what's going on, found the girl crying, and she was feeling dejected and everything, and then told the woman that it was the delivery guy that came to come and pick up the item that he said you should pick up, that raped me. Okay, so now they took this girl to the hospital to run all the tests to ensure that she's free from STIs and all of that. The girl's family says that in their own I think in their family or something, or in their village or something like that, anybody that is raped, they just excommunicate the person. So you hear that kind of thing, and then next thing what comes to your head is, it's not enough that I was raped, I still have to be excommunicated. I still do not have people who would want to feel sorry for me.
That trauma.
And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is this man saying? Your child was raped, and next thing you're saying is that, oh, well, she was raped, she has to be excommunicated, we don't want to have anything to do with her. She did not bring it upon herself. So these are more and more of all these things are what sometimes like the victims, they go up, they face. And one of the things that we try to advocate for is that when people get raped, we expect them to speak up, but it's not easy.
I think this aspect of them not speaking up, it's number one. I think I can mention two to me. Number one is victims blaming. Like, people be like, hey, she's raped, check her, see how she dressed, see how she do, she used to work out so much, what's the time, as in when was she raped, was it in the morning, what time was that, as in where was she going, what was she going to? No, she feels like, if I tell people, if I come out plain and say I was a rape victim, people be like, hey, sit down with the rape now, sit down. So they shame them. That's number one. And then number two again is that they feel, if I come out and say I am being raped, will I get justice? It's not, because it just feels like these people don't get justice for it. So they feel like, I don't need to even say this, let me just keep inside of me and just die within me. So that's the thing. You come out to say I'm raped, people shame you, people blame you for it. Okay, come out and say I am raped, no justice for you. You just go viral. This girl, just a girl was raped in just a place, and that's it. After like 1 month of it going viral on social media, it dies off.
Speaking about stigmatization, we in the country, Nigeria, we're used to associating people by what's going on around them. For example, they can say, look at that girl that always carries dread. You know, that might be the name tag that people would use to tag me. Or it can be, look at the girl that likes to do braid, something like that. You know, they would use a particular thing about you to identify you, and that's what the stigmatization thing comes for people who are raped. You know, the moment you share your story, I have witnessed, there was a time that I was in contact with someone who was raped, and I was trying to talk to somebody who was next to me. I was like, okay, you have to be very, very careful of what you say to this person. She's in that traumatic period. And next thing, this person just mentions, now the guy with the rape with this. I was so pained.
That's the thing.
You know, I was so pained because the question for me was like, how do you use such a term on someone who is going through a lot at this point? You know, say, now the girl with the rape, and she heard it loud and clear. She felt dejected. I didn't, you know, it took a lot for me to really speak her out of how she was feeling, and this is the reason why, you know, most of them do not want to speak up. The stigmatization, because now when you speak up, is either people know you as the person who was being raped, because you eventually might not even get justice, because the justice system in this country is even shallow.
Seriously,
it's completely shallow on its own. And another thing is, now if the person involved or the person who raped happens to be someone with money, that story
just
can be
dies then.
As good as dead.
It just dies.
Do you understand? Because there is a tendency for them to want to cover up the story that you know, he's a very popular man. He doesn't need this kind of thing on his title. You know, it's a dent on his title, and you know, all those kind of things. And because of that, you know, most times people will start to feel like, okay, you know, how does a small me, you know, have a case against a big man? You know, if I, you know, and most of these people who do these things, they say, so if you tell people that I rape you, what do you think will happen? Nothing will happen.
And that's the big truth.
So they say these things to these people, and they already feel like he's right. So why do I speak up if this man already, you know, he already feels like nothing is going to happen? And then, you know, like I said before, some families do not even want their people to speak about it, because they feel like you are trying to bring them down in society. You know, how do they raise their head up in society without people saying, another family now where they rape their daughter, you know,
or their son.
And some people, like, there was a time that when this whole rape thing was going on, and there was a lady who got married to her husband. Apparently, when she got married to this man, she did not tell him that she was a rape victim. And then the man, you know, during the period of when the whole rape thing was out there, she just told her husband and said that there's something I have been meaning to tell you since we got married, but I have not just had the, you know, confidence to speak about it. And the man's like, okay, I'm listening to you, tell me. And then she tells the man that I was raped, and the man's like, no, that he can't believe it, that he wants a divorce. No, for him, he feels like he shouldn't be married to someone who was raped, because he feels like he should have told me you were raped, because I don't think I'm mentally ready to marry a person who is raped or who was raped or something. And then I'm like, you think of that in that light. You do not think of how it is for her, the courage it took her to open up. And you know, she was married to you for over 3 years,
and they just come and be like, no, I'm not.
And and then she finally found that courage to speak up, and he's like, oh, because you're raped, you're getting a divorce. I'm sorry, I can't do all this.
You know one thing about this rape, that most people that get raped and tends to get pregnant. Most of them actually maybe get pregnant due to the rape thing that they had, that they actually were victims to. You know, one time, I think one story went viral on social media about a lady that was raped, and then she got pregnant, and then she gave birth to the child. But then one time she got arrested for killing the child. She killed her child. She said, this child is causing me pains, that each time I see this child, I think about I just recall the trauma, the pains, the whole drama that happened, that I got raped. So that's why I killed the baby. So arrest me. You know, somebody come up and say, I cannot face it anymore, arrest me. That's kind of thing these people go through, these rape victims. That is what they go through.
And this thing you just said now, you know, it's really telling me a lot of things about you know, when people say stuff. Okay, about when people say things like that, you know, about the whole rape thing, that they do not feel they feel a certain kind of way when they have children who, as a result of being raped.
Like a reminder.
Now this story reminds me of another story too that I read of a girl who, she even went to a party with her friends, she was at a party with her friends, and somehow, you know how they do all these parties now, they spike your drinks, put one or two things, and next thing you're either unconscious or you don't even remember wherever you are again. And apparently she saw herself, maybe some guys, they took advantage of her. She didn't even know what happened. She just know she knew her clothes were no longer on her body again, and she just went home. So maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months passed. She started to feel really sick, and then she thought it was this malaria that would never go. Kept on drinking malaria medicine, and then it wasn't going on till she eventually decided that she wanted to go to the hospital. Now she didn't just go. She went to the hospital with her mom because she was so weak that she couldn't, even go to the hospital. And then the doctor decided to run a pregnancy test, and he found out that she was pregnant, like even 4 months pregnant. Her mom didn't say anything about it, just told her that okay, she was going to be fine. They gave her some certain drugs to be taking, and then next thing she started to see her stomach was really getting big. Her stomach was bulging, but it didn't look like something too serious. Then it started to really bulge, and then she realized that she was actually pregnant. And so she felt at that stage, she felt like she was sort of deceived. I think at that point her mom should have even told her that this is what's happening to you, you're pregnant or something, but her mom kept quiet about it. Well, long story short, she delivered the child, and as soon as she had the child, it became a very big problem in her family, because now one, she doesn't even know who the father is. She went to a party, and it's a party where there are a lot of people. Who do you fault for taking advantage of you? She doesn't know who the father of the child is. The family is angry that something like that happened to her. They don't know who is responsible. They have to take care of a child that they do not know anything about. And she's stuck with a child that she keeps looking at this child, and every time she keeps remembering that something happened to her, but she can't even remember what exactly happened to her. So you see that kind of scenario is like, she can't even picture, because she was speaking about it, she said she can't even remember exactly what happened, because whatever they must have given her really knocked her out. Not to even remember the person's face or remember how it happened. So imagine her sitting, and then she's asking, and you're asking her question like, okay, what happened? She's like, I don't know, I just found out I was pregnant and I gave it to a child. And how do you explain to a child, how do you explain to that child that you are a product of rape, but I do not know your father, I do not even know how the situation even happened? It's a lot for her.
Now let's move away from the lady herself, and let's just focus on the child. As in talking about the child's own trauma. Who is my father? I don't know who my father is. I'm a product of rape. Like,
even if the girl doesn't want to say it, with people around, because of the kind of society that we live in, they always remind that child. Even when the child wants to even try to do it, say, leave him.
I saw something one time. Some children were playing, and then one other guy and another kid too came to join them to play, and they were like, go away, where is your daddy? Do you understand? This thing starts from, I don't know, the society we find ourselves, society where I think people just derive so much joy in bullying. They derive so much joy in bullying somebody, as in, I just don't know why people would just stop rape. Can we just live in a society where this rape thing would just stop? I think for me, I think right now, the ladies, should be like a program showing on television or social media or any handle that women will just be watching, just to learn how to defend themselves, because obviously these men are maybe not ready to stop this thing. So a program should be a program where women will just watch. Okay, fine, if it's coming, I have to hit here. Okay, I have to hit there to defend myself. That is what I think we need right now. Because if we say 14 years imprisonment, I think they're not looking at that 40 years imprisonment. I think women should be able to defend themselves. Women should be trained to defend themselves. Imagine this case that we're looking at right now. 2 ladies to 1 man. Even if men are stronger, in nature, but then 2 ladies to 1 man. If those women are actually properly trained on how to defend themselves when it comes to rape, I think they would have tried their possible best to stop that man from committing such acts.
All right, I think that we need to just go on a very quick break. When we come back, we'll just keep discussing on this matter. The rape matter never ends.
As in, it's too long.
All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's still at the canal, and we've been talking about rape. But then let's just read some comments, and this one is from Daniel Stella. He says, "May God help us. The day country they catch, the way country they catch some people now, no they funny. Yeah, it's true, but to just grab anybody from the road and then rape them or make people feel less of themselves, because some of these rape victims eventually commit suicide as a result of what has gone on, because not everybody is emotionally strong for things like that." And this is someone saying, what if it happens the other way, where a woman rapes a man? Yes, it does happen too. It's still the same thing. Rape is rape. There's nothing to justify.
No gender difference.
There's nothing to justify why you would rape anybody of any sort. And this one is from Chris Limpy. Says, "God will help us, because people will not believe you even when you say it. I know a guy a woman forced to sleep with, but how can he prove he was raped?" Okay, still speaking about if he switches gender, that's if it's not a woman and it happens to a man, it doesn't justify being raped. If you take advantage of somebody without their consent, is rape. And that's the reason why we're speaking with one voice now. And I think the jail term for people who rape people is like 14 years. Even though there are people who are asking that people who rape people should be castrated, should be there should be something like there should be something like even death sentence for them, because the 14 years is not really enough as such like that. And that's what people keep speaking about, because then how does these victims, how do they feel that when they report cases of rape, they do not get justice for? It's a lot of things for them, and that's the reason why there's more more programs of where people keep telling the government and saying, we want you to do something about these whole rape cases. And there's also some centers, like I know that Mirabel Center for people who have been rape victims. They assist and help to they give you the right counselors and all those kind of things. There are also other centers like that are out there who are there to like help people who have been raped before. But then one of the things that we always still want to talk about is that you need to protect today's woman. If you're a man out there, your duty should not be to take advantage of a woman. Your duty should be, how do I protect a woman? How do I protect her from being exposed? Because they say train a man. There's this word, I'm trying to find the right word, but they say train a woman, you train a whole generation, something like that. I can't remember what they say for a woman, but then exactly. But train a woman, you train a whole generation, because you know how many children will come out of a woman. How many generations that is to come. So it's a very big thing. That's the reason why some very notable women came out with some very interesting things.
Some men will be like, I don't have a sister, I don't have a daughter, so why would I want to protect a
you
woman?
Are going
but then you have a mother, because he came out through a woman. So if you had that at the back of your mind, at least I came out from a woman, then please, you have to try to protect women and not to destroy them.
So that's why we're going to take some notable quotes from some very prominent women who speak about protecting women basically. And this is from Malala Funds, and she says, "I want every girl to know that her voice can change the world." It's very important that every girl knows that her voice can change the world, because that's the reason why we do not want people who are victims of rape to keep quiet. We need them to speak up, because when you speak up, that means you're bringing us to the knowledge of what's happening to you, and that way we can keep finding ways on how to ensure that things like that do not repeat itself. So you want to
and this was coming from Margaret Thatcher. She said, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman. So you see, women are actually really important.
Exactly.
So they should be which word will I use? Just the way you shade, like they should be pampered, they should be protected, please.
And I'll take this one from Diane Marie Child. She says, a woman is the full circle. Within her is the power to create, nurture, and transform. Imagine, create, nurture, and transform. She creates, is a child. She nurtures the child, and she transforms the child. And that's the reason why a woman is a full circle. And that's the reason why we men out there should protect women. This kind of thing should not be happening. If you are so sexually starved, because I really don't understand why someone would rape, even fathers would rape their own children, coming out from their, what it means to rape your own child. Your sperm made this child. you know, and then you watch this child grow and decide that you want to rape your child and even get her pregnant. You know, these are things that we keep talking about because we do not want all these things. So that's why there's a 16 days advocacy to stop violence against women, and it's going to last from November 25th to December 10, and you know, from November 25th till December 10, and that's why people are taking out their time to keep speaking about violence against women.
And you know again, for the men that rape, you know, of course rape is a very, very bad thing, but sometimes you look at these people, their psychological, that's in their state of mind, are they normal, and are they okay mentally? That's another question that needs to be actually looked into, because imagine a father raping his child. What will I say? The child was dressed seductively, or would I say the man was just, let me use the word that is that one of our commenter said about conji or something. And no matter how much that conji is, come on, being attracted to your own child to an extent of raping her. So sometimes this man, if you think you if some such things happen to you, you just stay and then look at your child, or say a girl on the road and you get lost, you want to just tear her up and see whatever she's hiding there, then something is definitely wrong. I think we need to seek a medical attention.
Not today. One of the things that we keep fighting for is that line of when people say dress the way you want to be addressed, but sometimes you see children are being raped, and you can't tell me that children wear things that are really, really attractive. But then that's the storyline. But you know, we can't. This topic is something that we cannot speak about completely for the whole day. It's something that you know, we have to keep talking about.
Yes, of course. And then before we actually round off the thing, like this, we have many rape victims out there. They'll be like, oh, I can't say, oh, I don't know what to do right now. I'm depressed. I want to kill myself. I want to do this. But then we are bringing this quote from Robert Otaro. He said, "But no matter how much evil I see, I think it's important for everyone to understand that there is much more light than darkness. No matter the trauma you've been through, the pains, the shame, come out of it. You know, redefine yourself. You know, just come out.
Like they say, there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
I'm telling you. So just don't let it weigh you down. It can still be what you want to be. You can still stand that, you know, and not, you know, being tied down in that cycle of, oh, I'm a rape victim, oh, people will shame me, oh, this is this. So away from that there.
Alright, I think that this is where we might have to call it a wrap, because it's a topic that we really want to talk more on, but then our time is fast spent, and we cannot, you know, go on and on with this topic. But remember that you can equally like, share and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. As well as you can find our up-to-date stories, you can go on our website www.vanguardngr.com to find out more of our top stories. This is where we draw the curtains at the canal. I remain Precious Chukwudi, and I have with my co-host
Gift Mac.
Thank you for watching.